East Street in Sacramento had its own religion in the late nights. Crack smoke curling out apartment windows like ghost fingers, sirens singing lullabies, shopping carts rattling like skeletons down alleys soaked in malt liquor and broken dreams. Kids grew up fast there, too fast, like weeds cracking through cement nobody watered. Gary Dixon, better known as Trig, was one of those children the streets raised with steel-toed boots. His mother was a legendary dope fiend. The type people laughed at during the day, then feared becoming at night. Skinny arms, burnt lips, fingernails yellow from pipes. She loved the rock more than birthdays, more than food, more than him. Trig learned early affection came with conditions. A hug meant somebody wanted something. A smile usually came before betrayal. And all across Sacramento, movies like New Jack City poisoned young minds like beautiful venom. Every corner boy wanted to be Nino Brown. Fur coats, gold chains, drug empires. Nobody showed the withdrawals, the roaches, the paranoia, the mothers selling microwaves for another hit. Young Trig absorbed all of it like rainwater leaking through a rotten roof. So by 13 he was already stealing. By 15, fighting grown men. By 16, locked in juvenile hall learning criminality like college courses. Prison became the closest thing he had to family. You could always spot boys raised without love. They walked around with fake armor, loud voices, mean mugs, gang signs, empty eyes. Every insult cut too deep. Every rejection became war. They mistook fear for respect because nobody ever taught them peace. That's why Trig crashed into lives like a drunk driver. Then came Big Booty Michelle, not exactly pretty in the face, hard years already folding wrinkles around her mouth like crumpled paper bags. But her body stopped traffic, wide hips moving through E Street like a Cadillac with hydraulics. Men volunteered to ruin their lives for her attention. But Michelle wasn't just another hood girl. She was smart, dangerously smart. While dudes on corners flashed guns and screamed at customers, Michelle moved silent. Baby stroller in one hand, crack rocks in diaper bags, soft voice greeting fiends by first name. She treated addicts like cousins at a barbecue. No judgment, no aggression. That's why they stayed loyal. The police barely noticed her at first. A woman with children didn't fit their image of a kingpin. Meanwhile, she stacked money in silence while men around her caught cases trying to look important. She had 2 children, Malice Pino and Darius, both growing up embarrassed by the chaos orbiting their mother's hustle like moons trapped around a dying planet. Then Trig entered her life. At first he was useful, a parolee with nowhere to sleep, a wounded pit bull needing a porch. Michelle let him hold packs, run errands, intimidate people when necessary. He smoked with her, ate her food, slept in her bed. In his damaged mind, survival started feeling like love. But Trig's psychology was poison wrapped in insecurity. Boys raised by addiction often grow into men terrified of abandonment. They cling to people while secretly resenting them. They test loyalty through destruction. If they feel unwanted, they burn everything down before someone can leave first. Trig carried humiliation like gasoline inside his chest. Around Meadowview, he started hanging with gang members who'd known each other since childhood. But instead of bonding, he spread rumors, instigated drama, turned friend against friend. Chaos made him feel powerful. Then came Trell, one of the originals, respected, experienced, the type of man Trig pretended to be. Trig stole one of Trell's private tapes and showed it around town trying to embarrass him, but it backfired. Michelle didn't laugh. If anything, it awakened curiosity. Trig didn't understand that insecure men accidentally advertise the competition they fear. Soon Michelle started emotionally drifting away. She realized Trig was dangerous to her operation, dangerous to her kids, dangerous to her freedom. He was sloppy, emotional, the type to argue with police while holding drugs. Meanwhile, she quietly started seeing another man from the East Side named J. Rue, light-skinned, muscular, respected in the streets without trying too hard, the kind of presence Trig could never imitate because authenticity can't be stolen like fashion. Michelle hid it carefully because she knew Trig's ego was made of cracked glass, but the rumors eventually reached him. Every whisper stabbed him deeper. She upgraded. She got a real one now. She tired of babysitting Trig, and that's when the sickness inside him truly surfaced. He tattooed her children's names on his neck despite not being their father. In his mind, they belonged to him now. Possession disguised as devotion. He couldn't accept rejection because rejection forced him to confront the truth. Without Michelle, he was nobody again. Just another crackhead's son wandering Sacramento, carrying rage like a backpack full of bricks. One evening, he walked to her apartment, hoping to manipulate his way back in. Then he saw it. J. Rue entering the house, Michelle laughing, door shutting behind them. Something inside Trig snapped like piano wire. He wandered toward the light rail station, smoking a blunt, rocks in his pocket, paranoia boiling beneath his skin. When the bike cops approached and told him to stop smoking, a normal person would have walked away. But wounded egos always need audiences. Trig argued. Got smart. Pushed buttons. Then the cops realized he was searchable on parole. Weed. Crack cocaine. Handcuffs. Sitting in the back seat, sweating with jealousy and humiliation, his mind spiraled into madness. All he could picture was Michelle and J. Rue inside that apartment together, while he sat caged outside like a stray dog. So when detectives asked where the drugs came from, he folded instantly. Pain makes cowards out of fake gangsters. He gave them everything. The address, the setup, the operation. Within the hour, the downtown task force stormed Michelle's apartment. Door exploded inward, children screaming. Michelle tackled to the floor in lingerie. J. Rue frozen in boxer shorts, holding a blunt as officers ripped apart the apartment walls. Cracked bricks stacked like cursed Legos came spilling out. The lead detective walked through the smoke, grinning. We finally got you. As social workers carried her crying children outside, Michelle turned her head and saw Trig sitting in the police car watching her, still telling her he loved her. That's the twisted thing about damaged people. Sometimes their version of love looks exactly like destruction. Michelle lost her empire, lost her freedom, lost her children. And Trig? He still ended up exactly where he always belonged. Jail. Not long after, high on drugs and rage, he tried robbing a 7-Eleven. Before that, he'd manipulated another man named Conrad into giving him rides around town while secretly planning violence against another woman seeing somebody else. Trig even fired shots through a door while terrified family members hid inside. When police cornered him afterward, he surrendered almost immediately and blamed Conrad for everything. That's what snakes do. They survive by sacrificing everybody around them. Conrad lost his freedom helping a man he thought was just catching a ride home. Michelle lost her family, her children lost their childhood, neighborhoods lost peace. And at the center of it all stood Gary Dixon, a boy born unloved, a man who turned his pain into infection. Because hurt people who never confront their wounds don't simply suffer. Eventually they start feeding suffering to everybody else, like it's communion bread on the dirty altar of the streets.